Hey yo guys, this is gonna be my Kimetsu no Yaiba episode 2 to 4 review. So I'm just gonna do a quick overcap on what I saw and what I witnessed. And let me say this, Studio Ufotable, the makers behind the Fate Stay series, like geez, their animation is so crisp and clean. I've just gotta praise the artwork and everything. The production value is through the roof, and you can just tell how much effort they put in this and how much and their budget as well must be through the roof. But nevertheless, let's talk about what has transpired. So in episode 2, we see Tanjiro and his sister get attacked by another demon, and then somehow they end up winning against this demon out of all odds. But then what happens next is Tanjiro meets the trainer. I forgot his name. Let me find out real quick. Oh, Udorok Urodaki. Wait, Urodaki. I think that's his name. He's got this really mean-looking mask on, and he starts training with him. And what I like about this episode, or what transpires in this episode, is this whole training arc. And I like the montage we see, because at the beginning we can see it's really bad, but as time goes on we can see him getting better as well. And what I like about this compared to other shonen anime is the way they actually show what happens during the time skip. I mean the training arc, because a lot of the other shonen shows that I've watched, when they have a time, they just when they have a training arc, they do a time skip, so you never see what they train and how they train. All you see is the results, and that can have a good shock value. For instance, in One Piece, you spoiler alert if you're not seeing One Piece, but everyone has seen it. But after the time skip, you just see Luffy become so much stronger, but you never see his training. And yeah, but it's nice to have a what I'm trying to say is the shock value is quite good, because you just see him drastically getting stronger. But with this, seeing Tanjiro train, all his training and hard work, there's an appreciation for his level that he obtains later on and his strength, because we see what he goes through and all the struggle. So that's quite a nice approach to the whole training arc cliche. And yeah, the training looks quite rough as well. It's not some superhuman training. I mean, it is kind of superhuman, but it's more extreme training than anything. And it seems more realistic, even though this show isn't that realistic at all. And we also learn a few mechanisms of the world and the battle mechanics, such as breathing seems to be an important thing in this show, and the sense of smell as well. And we can see Tanjiro's sense of smell get stronger and stronger with him being able to detect things. So yeah, I guess that's one of his specialty. And yeah, there seems to be a real big emphasis on breathing. And in later episodes, in the second half of the training, once Tanjiro completes the hill run, Udaraki sends him to this massive boulder, and he's like, "Yeah, I've taught you everything I have now. Your final mission is to break the boulder, and if you can break the boulder, then you can go to the final selection." And he just walks off, and that's kind of cold from him, from the trainer. But then at this point, we see how much stronger he's gotten, and he's improved quite a lot in terms of physical endurance, strength, and everything. But the real test of the part where he gets a lot stronger, and the real part of the training comes from the boulder, right? So as he's training from the boulder, and what I like is the sense of time in this show is pretty good, because it gives you a realistic feel of how long it would actually take someone to get as strong as he is, and the training kind of makes sense with the length he goes through. So for him to complete basic training, it took him what, like 6 months, roughly, I think. I'm just going off a guesstimate. That's not accurate, but something like that. And then from he's training with the rock to pass the test, the boulder shot. So he has to slice the boulder, and that just looks impossible. Seems like his sensei instructor gave him just an impossible task to do. So, and you just see him like go at this boulder, and what he does is, because he's learned, because what he's learned from his instructor Udaraki, he's written it all down in notes, and he keeps on doing the same things again and again to make himself stronger. And he keeps attempting to break the boulder, and it doesn't break. And he actually makes no progress, and he does this for 6 months as well. And I feel, when I was watching this, I'm like, wow, this guy has really spent this much time. And in my opinion, I thought he was wasting his time doing that because he was making no progress. And then these two characters pop up, and they kind of guide him. They kind of become his sparring partner when they both wear the mask of the fox, right? The kitsune mask, it's probably called. And they help him out, and they help him out by sparring with him. But he usually spars with the male one. And apparently they're also, what do you call it? Teach students of Udaraki Sensei. And he actually trains with them for what, a good few months as well. And this is, we see less of his training with them, but we see the final sparring session where he actually beats him. And this is quite interesting because I thought it was quite a cool scene where they both slash strikes, and we see the whole threads that comes out, and is like Tanjiro can see these threads, and it's to do with breathing, and it's pretty cool visualization of striking and stuff. So I quite enjoyed that. And then the part where I thought was really epic was the part where Tanjiro and the male the the other student, when they both clash at each other, and the monologue Tanjiro has about how he's been training for this moment and he's finally stronger than him, and they both try slash, but you just see Tanjiro slash so much quicker than him. And I was like, yo, that looked pretty sick because everything stands still for a bit. Like, it goes to a freeze frame, and Tanjiro all of a sudden jerks forward with lightning speed and cuts him in half. And he cuts his mask off. And then this is at the point where his mask comes off and he smiles, but then they both disappear. So I was like, what's going on here? And then, to my surprise, it turns out they're actually spirits who were guiding Tanjiro. And you can see from the ropes with the tags of spirit help. But with that, we see Tanjiro slice that boulder straight in half, and I was quite surprised he could do that. And it just shows his growth, because even with all the basic training he had done earlier, he was nowhere the strength he was after beating his sparring partner and slashing the boulder. So I would say he drastically improved in his strength. And with that, he goes back to his tutor. But this time, his instructor, he's actually happy, but he's sad as well, because the reason why he set him that boulder task was he didn't want to see another one of his students die. So that kind of sets up something, and he gives him a really good meal, and all of a sudden he's nice, and it's pretty cool. And I quite like the sensei. He's like tough love kind of guy. You know, I like that. So we see Tanjiro go off to final selection, and this is where episode 4 comes in. So final selection's kind of rough as well, because it's dangerous because you're meant to be fighting demons, and you see a lot of other hunter trainees there, and you see, and there's an emphasis on a few characters, the ones I saw in the opening are the ones that I put a lot of emphasis on. So all they have to do is just survive in there and kill demons. So they just head off. So we see Tanjiro actually get ambushed by one demon and another demon. So he ends up fighting two demons, right? So this is the first time Tanjiro has actually been against demons. He's had no experience with them, but he has all the training. All he has to do is imply what he has learned. So because he's inexperienced, we can see him actually falter a bit, and he gets nervous, and he almost chokes, right? But he actually manages to regain his composure, and the whole string scene comes where you can see their breathing so see their movement through his breathing, and he just slashes them, But what's really cool is at this part we got the whole water particle effects, which I think is ridiculously crazy and quite creative with the particle effects, because the actual effects itself, it doesn't fit the whole animation style, and it really contrasts. It looks really cartoony, but somehow it works. I like it. And you see the water slash, and he actually beats two demons, and I was quite happy for him because you can see how much he's improved killing two demons there and then. So it turns out you can kill demons another way, which is with a special sword, which is made for killing demons, and that's what he did. So after killing those two demons, I was like, yeah, Tanjiro's got this. But then we see this massive demon, and it looks ugly. I won't lie, it was ugly. It's got so many hands and stuff. And oh, I almost forgot to mention, we also learned how demon power levels scale. So they get stronger every time they devour a human. For each human devoured, they get stronger. So we can just see this demon. You can see how many humans it's devoured, right? And it's just a lot of hands covering it, and it's like a massive amalgamation of limbs. It's kind of disgusting, I won't lie. But we just see this eat this trainee. Ooh. So I completely lost my train of thought. So we see the demon devour that trainee, and I'm like, damn, we see some deaths already. Um, what we learn quite quickly is this demon is actually not supposed to be. I mean, he's supposed to be there, but he kind of outscales all the other demons, and he's a lot stronger than the other demons. So he outlevels all the hunter trainees as well. But Tanjiro, being the heroic shonen protagonist he goes in and saves the other trainee before it gets devoured, right? But so it's up to Tanjiro to fight this thing one on one. And as he's fighting this thing can talk as well. And he talks about how he notices the mask looks quite familiar, and it's Udaraki's mask, his sensei's. And it turns out the demon was actually captured and brought to the training grounds by Udaraki himself. So he has a massive grudge against him. And every time he sees his signature kitsune mask, he always eats that children. He always eats the hunters because to spite Udaraki. So this is where we learn about the two spirits that helped out earlier with the ball with who helped Tanjiro slash the boulder in half, because we learned that this demon was the one who was responsible for their deaths, and the way he taunts Tanjiro by telling how he killed them as well really made me angry as well, and it just shows what a piece of scum this demon was, and how he enjoys killing these hunters. And yeah, it was quite gruesome the way he kills them as well, and we see some visual aid for that as well. But and then we find out the whole reason for the boulder, and the whole payoff was quite good. So we learned the female one was crushed quite easily with the demon just crushed her quite easily. And then whereas the male one, the one Tanjiro was sparring with, he managed to get through his defenses and actually aim for, he went for the head, but he's got these arms as armor, and he couldn't cut through his armor, the demon's armor, and he ended up just dying, getting caught by the demon after he tanked the hit. But this is where he's different, right? Because Tanjiro's been practicing his power as well, and his stopping power is pretty crazy because he can slash that boulder. So this is where the symbolism came in, where I was like, damn, that was some good symbolism, because what Tanjiro had to overcome with the boulder was the same thing as what he's gonna do here. The boulder and the demon are the same, and they both represent the same thing, which is the obstacle of how tough his neck was. So because Tanjiro has already passed the test, which was set by Udaraki Sensei, we just see him slice the demon's neck in one clean shot. And we know about the payoff because we've seen him train against that boulder. So it was quite satisfying for me to see him slash that boulder. Not boulder, that demon's head off. And we also get justice for the previous students of Udaraki, and now the spirits can finally rest in peace. So which is pretty good. But that was it for this episode. Those 3 episodes. I kind of rambled on, and sorry about me stuttering and stuff. It's just trying to remember off my head, which I do enjoy. I quite enjoy just going on the flow. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this show, and I can't wait to see more of what's going to happen.